There are 115 freehold townhomes available in Vaughan right now, the type with no condo fees. 115 in the entire city. And if you look at semi-detached, it's even worse with only 40 homes available. Now last month, the prices dropped again, and you've probably seen that headline somewhere. But here's the part that you must pay attention to. With fewer homes to choose from, your negotiating room on those prices for these homes is also dropping. And I think actually that's the bigger story. So July, 272 homes sold, which is up a little from last July. But the median price at $1,065,000 is about 8% lower than last year. Now, just to clarify, median price is the middle price. So half the homes in the city sold above that price and the other half sold below that. It's different than average price since that gets pulled around quite a bit by some sales in the upper price point. So when you hear the median price, that's closer to the price most families paid to buy a home in the city. Anyways, if you stop right here, you would say it's a soft market with buyers in full control. But then you look at new listings, down 27% from a year ago. So yes, the prices did come down a bit, but the number of homes to choose from came down 3 times harder. Now sales were also down by 18% from June. But then again, July is always quieter than June. Kids are off, vacations are on, more people at the cottage, so just less people looking to sell or buy a home. And this happens every summer. Now here is a number that I would actually look at. 647 new listings in July. Last July, 889. So it seems like sellers walked away from this market faster than the buyers did. And that's the whole story for July in one line. And one more, because I know somebody is going to ask about the average 9% versus the HPI at 5.5%. HPI is a home price index. HPI is a more honest and more accurate measure of prices over time. So a handful of big luxury detached home sales cannot skew this number. Vaughan HPI is down by only 5.5% versus the average price showing a 9% decline. So yes, it is softer, but just not as soft as the headline numbers would make it sound. Now here's a chart that I haven't used in these presentations before. The top line here is the median price in Vaughan, April to July in 2025. And below that, the same 4 months for this year. Look at almost how flat 2026 is. April through July, everything sits between about $1,065,000 to about $1.12 million. That's a fairly narrow band for a median price. Now look at the same stretch over the last year. It went from 1.26, spiked all the way above 1.3 in May, before settling down to 1.15 mil by July. So yes, we are lower than last year, but we've also been more steady than last year. And steady is not what a falling market looks like. I'm going to keep this chart in every video here on. This way, you can track the market trends over time. Now, if we compare Vaughan to the rest of the GTA or the Trap District for July, we came out ahead. Region-wide, sales were down by 1%, but in Vaughan, sales were actually up by 2%. GTA-wide, listings dropped by 18%, but in Vaughan, listings dropped by 27% year over year. And the median price in Vaughan still sits about $205,000 above the GTA average. So what I take from that, and this is just my take, is that the Vaughan picked up more buyers while the rest of the region was losing buyers. And we also lost sellers or listings at a much faster pace than anybody. If you combine all that, it seems like the market in Vaughan is improving and is a much tighter market versus what the price headlines are telling you. Now let's break this market down by home type. Detached first, since half the homes that sell in the city every month are detached homes. This month, 124 sold, so basically flat with last year. Median price is just around 1.4 mil, which is down about 10%. 29 days to sell at 96% of asking. Now for that 96% of asking, for example, if a home is listed at 1 million on average, it's closing at around 960,000. As a buyer, that's the gap you're negotiating with when buying a detached home in the city. Now here's some good news if you own a detached home. The HPI index I mentioned earlier showed the prices are down by 5.5% versus that 10% drop we see here for detached homes. So that means out of the 10%, roughly half is the actual price softening. The other half is just buyers buying older homes or smaller homes than they would have bought last year. These are two completely different problems. And honestly, they need two different pricing conversations when you're trying to sell your home. Now I showed a lot of detached homes in Vaughan to a couple of clients over the last 2 months. For one of the clients, I put offers in about 3 homes and they all went to multiple offers. My client had a set budget and I strongly suggested that they don't go above that. Clients were smart, so they held back. But it does show that there is a strong demand for detached homes in Vaughan as long as they're well presented, well priced, and the home sellers understand the current market and negotiate well. And now back to that 115 number, freehold townhomes. 50 of them sold last month, up by 28% from June. And the number of freehold townhome listings on the market dropped by 20% in 1 month. In 1 month. And that drop is exactly what brought us down to having only 115 freehold townhomes available in the entire city. Freehold townhomes are selling at 99% of list price. So basically, the sellers are getting full asking price. Freehold townhomes are the only home types in Vaughan that grew against last month and last year. So if you own a freehold townhome and you were waiting for the competition to thin out before you list your home, it just did. So now's your time. Condo apartments in the city are actually doing a bit better now. Best sales growth in the city at about 9% year over year. The median price at about $545,000 is only down by 1%. So month over month, the prices really didn't move that much. And after 2 years of continuous sliding prices, being flat is actually good news for condo apartments. Now prices for this segment could be bottoming out, but we need to see the same trends and consistency for a few more weeks or a few more months before we call it that. But I can't sit here and tell you everything is all good with condo apartments. On average, it's taking about 46 days to sell, the slowest of any home type in Vaughan. So the buyers still have an upper hand if they're trying to buy one of these. And if you're trying to sell a condo, it's critical to get your price right at the very start. You don't want to just throw a number out there and then make multiple adjustments to get to the right price. With how long it's taking to sell these condo apartments, you just can't afford to waste your time or your carrying costs. And if you thought 115 was low, look at this, 40. Only 40 semi-detached homes available for sale in the entire city of Vaughan. So how did the listings for semi-detached homes drop so low? Well, new listings for these homes got cut down by 50% from last year. 49 last July to only 24 new listings this July. And on top of that, these homes sell fairly fast at about 26 days. And that's also about a week faster than this June. So now we have two segments where the listings are drying up. Freehold townhomes, 115, semi-detached at 40. So if you are a buyer for one of these two home types, you've lost some negotiating power over the last year and then especially over the summer. And if you're selling one of these, this is the least amount of competition you've had in a while. To sell one of these homes, prepare the home well, price it right, and it will sell fast at a great price. Condo townhomes. Read these again carefully this month. Only 8 sold. I mean, with only 8 sales, that's just 8 homes that happened to close this month. It's not a trend. It's not a recovery for this segment. The real signal here is the HPI index, down by 11% year over year. That's the weakest of any home type in the city. So if you are a patient buyer, these are the most negotiable homes in the entire city. And now the same question we all hear over and over. Is Vaughan a buyer's market or a seller's market right now? And the most accurate answer for that comes from months of inventory. And honestly, that's my favorite and most reliable number in this entire report. Take everything that's for sale, divide it by how fast everything is selling, and you get a number that tells you how long it would take to clear the inventory if nobody else listed a home. Under 4 months, sellers have the edge. 4 to 5 months is a balanced market. 5 months and above is a strong buyer's market. And if you look at the numbers in the city, freehold towns at 2.3, semi-detached at 2.4, both of these are in the seller's market. Detached homes at 4.7 in the balanced market. Condo apartments at 6.4. Condo townhomes at 8.4. Now that's a strong buyer's market. Same city, same month, and the answer to that question is very different depending on the home type we are talking about. So the next time somebody tells you, hey, it's a buyer's market or a seller's market in Vaughan, it's fair to ask them, which home type are you talking about? And if you break these numbers down by neighborhood, the spread is wide. Islington Woods and Kleinburg both averaged over 1.7 million last month. Vellore Village and Maple both landed around the $1 million mark. One thing to note though, Concord and Corporate Center look very low on this list. And before you ask why, it's because they're mostly condos. That's a type of a home which doesn't really include the land value. And now a quick look at some of the background stuff. Bank of Canada held this rate at 2.25%. That's 6th time in a row. The variable rate mortgage and HELOC are tied to this rate. 5-year bond yields remain high. Therefore, the fixed rate mortgages remain quite high without any changes. Inflation did cool down a bit to 2.8%, and Toronto unemployment rate came in at 7.2%. So money side of things have been quiet in a good way. Not many changes that would have affected the July real estate numbers. So what to do with all this information? Well, if you're buying, your negotiating room hasn't gone anywhere. It just moved. It's mostly in condos now. You've lost some of the negotiating power in townhomes and semi-detached. If a freehold townhome is what you want, don't take 3 weeks to think about it. If you're selling a freehold townhome or a semi-detached, you've got the least amount of competition you've had in years. If you're selling a detached home in Vaughan, there is still a strong demand for homes that are presented well and priced well. So set your price to what is actually selling in the market right now. not what your neighbor sold for in 2025 or the year before. The price point, that's the toughest part of the conversations I have during my listing consultations. And now my final honest read on all of this. Prices have softened again. There is no point in sugarcoating that. But listings did fall by 27% as more buyers showed up in the market. And now Trepp itself is saying that the prices may level off at the back half of this year. And those 115 townhomes and 40 semi-detached I opened with kind of support that. And for buyers, nothing in this number says that there's a rush to buy. Be patient, be ready, but do pay attention to this market shift. And if you really want to understand what this data means for your street or your home type, please reach out. I would love to run these numbers for your scenario. My contact info and my calendar link are in the video description below. Understand the market data, make smarter decisions every day. Please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel for more market updates, local home tours, and much more. Raj here, your local Vaughan broker with RE/MAX experts serving the entire GTA. I'll catch you next time.